Hello guys, Mr. Mold here. We've got your tip of the week, and as the holidays are quickly approaching, and I'm here with Nadine.
Hello everybody.
And we have some very important information that we want to share with you as the holidays, come around. We thought about what can we give back to the community, and some of the things that came to mind were, a lot of people, they give toys, which is very nice, and a lot of people come and they volunteer, they do a whole bunch of different things, but we thought we wanted to do something a little bit different this year. And as we approach the environmental approach and get that hands-on program that we have with not just having doctors and the awareness of what mold exposure does to families. It's very important, guys. This is a very delicate subject, a subject that we really do not like to talk about it too much, in the sense that it creates a panic a lot of times when we're talking to pregnant mothers, expecting parents, and people with infant and minor children. They're very skeptical and they're very scared about mold exposure because they're firsthand seeing what's happening with their children, their allergies, the fact that their lungs are congested and they're having asthma attacks and they're having all these different things. And what I'm holding here in my hand right now is just a list of, we do a lot of research here at Mr. Mold, and Nadine is our primary, she's spearheaded this project, which she's done an excellent job. And basically what it is the findings are just scary. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been able to find as far as mold-related illnesses and minor children.
So for minor children, the sudden infant death syndrome is really big and really, really scary for new moms. What I found with doing research is that it comes down to actually their crib. That's what happens. What happens is that the moisture builds up, and then whether it be they spit up or whether it be that they wet their pants and it's continued to stay wet, and what happens is that stays on the mattress. Absolutely. And then it develops mold, which then of course they inhale, and it really turns into a tragedy from there.
Yeah, and to add to what Nadine is saying, guys, there's so many different factors, and the studies are now showing that the underdeveloped respiratory systems and lungs of a minor child, they're so small that basically when spores land in the respiratory systems, specifically toxic molds, that can actually cause the lungs to shut down, and that in itself is what causes sudden infant death syndrome. Not to mention miscarriages. Yes, I said the word. Miscarriages is something that we find a lot, not only in the studies that we make, but actual clients that we go out and visit that tell us the stories when they have mold exposure and that they've lost their babies and so on and so forth. We see their environment, we study what they have, and unfortunately, the common denominators are all the same. The allergies, they start a certain way, it starts progressing into respiratory system failures, and once it gets exchanged, the mold spore gets exchanged in the blood, it goes into the neurological system, and a lot of times with the elder patients and clients, then it gets misdiagnosed because some of the signs are like depression, lethargy, chronic fatigue, and the list goes on, but mainly depression. So when the doctors can't treat it anymore, it goes undiagnosed into a psychologist, psychiatrist, and we talked about this, but today we wanted to talk a little bit more about what we're going to do to give back to our community. Let's come in here real quick and show you guys what we are thinking about doing. And Nadine, we really appreciate all the work that you've put into this project, and as we really focus our energy on getting the awareness out there, we have doctors, we have specialist pulmonologists, allergists, pediatricians, and we have a lot of people that are endorsing this movement, and it's very important because we want to make sure that your house is safe. So one of the things that we're going to do this month, for the month of December and maybe even the first part of January, the way that we're going to give back to the community is, listen, peace of mind is priceless. There's many gifts and many different things that you could do for your family, for your friends, and for others when it comes to giving and actually giving a physical present. But the gift of peace of mind, guys, that is priceless. So what we're going to do here at Mr. Mold is we are going to do a free mold sample. We're going to go and have a spore trap analysis. You just name if you're pregnant, mommy, or if you, let's go ahead and hit this real quick. If you are a pregnant mommy, or if you simply have a minor child, and let's call the threshold from 24 months and younger, we will do a complete mold analysis free for you. We're gonna have our specialists and our assessors out in the street, like little elves, working real hard this Christmas. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an outside control sample, and we're gonna do one inside of your house. So the reason we do the outside control sample is because we have mold. It's part of our environment. We find it in dead leaves, decaying plants, and everything else. I mean, without mold, guys, the truth is we'd all be dead. It's part of our ecology. So what we want to know is that the species of mold that you have on the outside of your house, it's not the same one that you have on the inside. So we would do 2 samples, one outside, one indoors, and that's going to tell us whether you have mold growing from within. It's just a sample that we send to the laboratory. They produce a report and tell us whether it's elevated or it's not. This is a test, guys, that normally is very, very expensive. When we bill the insurance companies, Nadine, we bill a lot of money for these tests. Even if it's a cash paying client, it's an expensive test. It's not like a home inspection. That's rather affordable. A lot of people cannot afford mold assessments only because of how pricey they are. We are willing to do this for free, guys, okay? So pregnant mommies, this Christmas, anyone that you know, you may not be pregnant, you may not have children, you may have grandchildren, but just, we're spreading the news, spreading the word, letting you guys know that we are in, and we are in for the full ride. We want the awareness to get out there. And there's nothing going to be wrong with just finding out what your indoor is like. We want to know if you have any spores in the air. When we get the lab report back, if we have a problem, we'll take it from there. And guys, we want to walk you through the process. If you do have an issue, God forbid you don't, but if you do, we will tell you exactly what you need to do. We will walk you right through the process, educate you along the way, and as we find out if you do have an issue, we will definitely take care of it for you. So the initial test, the one that we were just talking about, is going to be 100% free. And we're going to be talking about different topics and different things along the way. But this month, we want to just cater to those pregnant mommies and families with minor children. Guys, you really have no idea how bad it is when we see families that are exposed to mold, and specifically toxic mold. Stachybotrys is a name of one of the mold species that's probably the most dangerous one. And we're going to talk a lot more about those, and we're going to educate you guys and bring up forums and different things so you guys are very well aware of what's out there. And we're doing right now a lot of families where they don't even know they have mold. I mean, the grand majority of the people, Nadine, they have mold. You've seen,
yes.
You've been doing a lot of the research.
The biggest thing is today is receiving some pictures from a gentleman that, again, wasn't able to afford to have his house tested, and he was bringing her to the doctors, and she had rashes and allergies, and the doctor kept telling him to go ahead and have your house tested. Well, unfortunately, he couldn't afford it. So this little girl suffered. Well, he had to stay in that unit for 6 or 7 months.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, it really breaks my heart to see some of these pictures that we get and these stories that we hear every day about these children that are so sick.
Absolutely. And the pictures that Nadine shared with me today, I mean, this little girl's skin was completely, filled with rash. She was breaking out into hives. And there's 3 ways of getting contaminated with mold. It's either skin contact, inhalation, and ingestion. So if you have mold that's trapped in the attic, or it's trapped underneath on your crawl space, if you live in one of the older houses like in Coral Gables or South Miami and so on and so forth, as long as those spores are not inside your environment, then you have nothing to worry about. The problem is that sooner rather than later, those spores will start creeping inside your house. They'll recirculate through your air conditioning system. Like the last video I showed you guys of the spores and how they travel through your air handler and distribute it through your AC system. Some of the studies have shown that when kids are sleeping, when the babies are sleeping face down, and the mattresses get wet for whatever reason, as Nadine was saying, one of the biggest, they don't even have to wet the bed, they don't have to spit, and they don't even have to spill anything. Guys, if the relative humidity, which is something nobody ever checks in the house, If the relative humidity rises above 65%, that in itself becomes a thriving environment for mold to grow. So guess what happens? When the mattress gets damp and gets wet, it has a fire deterrent gel that starts to grow mold and starts releasing toxic fumes. Aside from the mold, which are MVOCs, microbial volatile organic compounds, it starts releasing the toxic compounds in itself that it has from the actual product. Guess what? When the baby is sleeping, facing down, breathing all these toxic fumes and mold, this will shut down the respiratory system and cause sudden infant death. So, not to go and hammer you guys more on this information because it is a little alarming and it's not my favorite subject. Let's go to my favorite part, which is actually giving back. Giving back to the community, giving back to these families, to these pregnant mommies that are out there. So we're gonna turn the phone and Yadi is gonna tell you exactly how it is that you're gonna get a hold of us. If you need a mold inspection in your house, or if you wanna take advantage of this free opportunity, this is our information right here. You can either go to the website and fill out your information. Nadine, say the rest of it.
Perfect. So go ahead and go to www.mrmoldinc.com, or of course give us a call at 844-MOLD-OUT. That's 844-668-5688. And our direct line, you'll get directly to Yadi, will be 786-780-5886. Let us help you keep your little ones safe.
Guys, and again, this is free, okay? You guys don't have anything to worry about. Just get online, call us, and we will take care of the rest. We will send our troops out there, our mold troopers that are ready to rock, and this will be our present to give back to the community, so you guys know whether you have anything inside your environment, and if you have a clean indoor air quality environment, which is what you should have in your house. Other than that, guys, I wish you have a great holiday season. We're here to help you guys. We love you all, and God bless you.